Okay, I think the sound is not working on the video game itself, so I'll have to figure that out. So I'm gonna keep it going in the meantime while I try and figure it out. But also, I realized the part where you're on the train tracks, if you just don't do anything, eventually you get knocked off the train on its own. So yeah, that happened. What you're supposed to do is shake the joystick, and it rocks the cage and falls off. But if you just wait long enough, the game is like, hey, I guess this person doesn't know what they're supposed to be doing, so we're just gonna we're just gonna knock them off. In the meantime, hope they figure it out. This part, so Ryu obviously fell off the train. Ray finds him, a little upset about the whole food running away thing. Decides that he will be a better guy than what he wants to be and will take Ryu back to his place. Which, good thing this was 20 years ago. Wonder what you're doing out there by yourself. With no clothes on, this kid just out there, reckless. Get a glimpse of the house where we're gonna stay at. This is how I want to live in real life. Way out here in the woods. Away from people. Then we find another character, Tipo. Who's hungry, waiting on Ray to come back with food. But he's not. He has the most interesting dinner you can have. This little kid, who they're not aware of, is a dragon. The beginning of our epic adventure. We start out as a dragon, and then naked, and then in some stranger's bed. The Florida man, right there. Sounds like what happened with me. An orphan, not surprising, it's been a lean year. Let's let him sleep while we go to the village. Cause mayhem. I mean, get food. Right, food. Somebody abandoned him just like me. We're twinsies. This is a good person to remember for later in the game. Who is this man with purple hair? In the coolest kung fu stance I've ever seen. You're the same as me. You must understand. They are weak, pitiful, and pathetic. Well, she seems way nicer. What's up, lady? Ryu. Why? Ryu. Good talk. Let's get this party started. That's exactly how I walk out of bed. I stand straight up in the middle of the bed and then walk off. Which is weird, being as tall as I am. Don't forget this. Oops. Shit. So also, as I play through this, I do not by any means try and get 100% of the items. I think that it's a waste of time. I wasted enough time grinding in certain parts of the game to worry about trying to find one additional croc tier or something irrelevant. But I do try and get every skill ink because those are a pain to get. And then if you can see this, there's an item here, which is really good. Brings you back to life if you die. These guys on the hills will talk to you and give you strategy if you've never played the game, but not till you're in a party. Also, because I've played this a lot of times, and like most JRPGs, a lot of the NPCs are here just to talk about random nonsense, I don't talk to them either. Uh, Obviously, if you're interested in finding out about nothing, there's plenty of people to talk to. Interesting little thing is that this right here, speaking of croc tiers, you can get an infinite amount if you feel like it. There's no point, really. If you want to try and find a way to waste an insane amount of time to get free money, you could do this and sell them, but they're kind of a useless item. I think they sell for like 1 gold piece, basically, which is not worth it. Gold in this game is hard to find on its own, but that's still a really big waste of time, so we'll keep it going. What is happening in town? Wow! Guy's like a tiger. And he is way slower. I mean, never catch you. You stopped right outside. Everyone's watching for us. You stopped right outside. Nobody's got much food with the poor harvest and all. Tipo, look at this. Hey, you finally woke up. Another mouth to feed. Ryu. The guy in pajamas still, just roaming around the forest and roaming around town in PJs. How are we going to get fixed up with equipment? We're going to go over here and steal it. Haven't been able to steal food, but we could scrounge up some weapons and armor. I wish we could just keep stealing the weapons and armor and make some gold. Let's do it. We can scrounge up some armor and weapons and easy. Easy. Just wait. It'll get you something real nice in no time, player. Did I just say Ryu? Is that your name? Oh, and they just leave me stranded in my PJs in the middle of town while they pull off the biggest heist in McNeil Village in centuries. Or at least since yesterday. Yeah, they're able to get you something to wear and left you back there. Look at that new outfit. We're looking scruffy. T-shirt looks like it's half the size of what it should be. No, my shirt's good. Better than pajamas, I suppose. What do we do now? Everyone's in a bad mood because of the poor harvest. Let's hit the road. Can get some work there. Jarl Road. We go there and mug people. We are outstanding citizens. We don't hurt them. It's fine. We just steal their stuff and hurt them emotionally. Even a beginner like you can do it. Don't worry, let's go. And we're off. The beginning of our three-man team. So we're going to put it over to defensive so that the enemies have an equal chance of hitting everybody. Because I want them to use, basically at this point, Tipo and Ryu as punching bags. So that they don't gain any levels unnecessarily. We've been drinking, obviously, as you can tell from our swagger. So on the world map, real quick though, we have the city. These little circles are useless for the first like 10 hours of the game. Pretty soon there will be fishing spots. I thought they were already open, they are not, so we'll just go this way. But this is the world map. Exclamation points are areas where you can decide to go into. There's a guaranteed item and also a battle instantly, and you can battle random enemies in there. In the meantime, we'll just mosey around, right? Nothing over here. Jarl Road. Instant battle every time you go into a new area and you start walking. So, early in the game, the best thing to do is with Ray, especially this fight right here, is to steal from this guy, the boss goblin, because he has a waistcloth, which one is the best item for defense right now, but also if any excess ones can sell for like 10 times what you get for any fight. Tipo will try and inspect or examine the boss goblin, and so will Ryu for now because I want to learn influence, which is needed like again 10 hours from now. You learn it this early in the game, but you don't really need it or even have a purpose for it until much later, but it's one of the early ones that matter. So we'll try and steal, couldn't steal anything. And what influence does is it guides who the bad guys are going to hit, which if you're under the influence of certain things is fantastic to have. And we'll just try and learn it. Still not going to learn it. But the boss goblin is the main guy to steal from early on. 0 for 2. And then also the little Aigu is really good to steal from because you can get healing herbs, which you use a surprising amount of throughout the early part of the game. There we go, he learned it. Exclamation point above Tipo's head shows that he learned the skill. There you go, learn influence. If you're playing for, if you're playing for a 100% playthrough, there's a lot of guys early on that have skills you can learn. So many of the skills are completely useless. So I'm not going to learn them at all, but I will kill off themselves. Again, I don't want them to gain experience early because master skills early on are pretty good to get. Man, 0 for 4. Unmotivate is one that you can learn also. But again, the leveling in this game is interesting because you can manipulate a lot of the stats if you only level under certain masters. So in order to get the most of the stats that we want later in the game, we're going to kill off the guys as we play and try not to waste any levels gained, because gaining levels until you get to the volcano, gaining levels is very monotonous. Like there will be a point where I probably don't record any of it, but I'll just have a little thing where I let you know I just grinded 2 hours to gain 10 levels with Tipo, and then that way he can learn what he needs to learn, but not have to watch me kill the same guys. See, healing herbs, those are great. Again, you're going to use a lot of them, especially as you kill people off and everyone's hitting your only guy you want to level. So now we're just going to kill these guys. The first time you fight them, you can't see their health bar. It's a question mark, but after you kill them the first time, you can see what it is. So, like right here, we need 10 experience to get to level 2 for the first 2 guys. We're going to try not to use any of that in case we accidentally kill somebody, which is kind of frustrating. Ray is almost level 6. Ideally, he'll be level 7 at least before the next major plot point. Level 8 is kind of overkill. This game, actually, the majority of it's fairly easy. You could literally do the majority of the beginning of the game with, and I will on this playthrough, with just one character. Like this whole first part, I'm just going to kill the guys off and let Ray kill everybody, and in a little bit we'll switch to a different character, which will be Tipo, and he'll kill everybody, and we're just going to play through that way for honestly all the way through the childhood, because you don't get good masters for some of the people too early, and it's basically just a waste of levels and stats if you level up without like guiding what you're doing. So with the few experience that you get per battle, if you get to level 10 or so, it can be kind of a pain. What's happening here? Oh well. Yeah, I forgot to go down here first. Getting ahead of myself. This is Yarrow Road where we work. Let's see what trouble we can get into. This road goes all the way to Windia. We're gonna blow this place. Head out to the big city. Or, instead of worrying about that, let's think about eating for today. That sounds like a great plan too. Let's go wait for someone, rough them up, take their stuff. And where's a good place to do that? Right there. Right there. This is one of those interesting things that the game does where I don't even think it shows you a place to hide anywhere else in the entire game besides that one move right there. So this little mage goo is probably the only other early game thing that I'll try and learn. He has a skill called Burn. Also drops a healing herb if you steal from him. He's really good to fight early on for the sake of... Oh man. For the sake of... Really. He drops a lot of gold compared to the rest of the guys early on in the game. So, every time we see him, we definitely want to try and kill the mage goo. Have Tipo try and learn Burn. There we go. Oh, fantastic. The first try. That happens almost never. So I'm glad he came back to life that time. But it's a weaker fire spell than what he normally gets anyway as he levels, which is good if we're trying not to kill something and just lower his HP while we try and steal. Again, in the beginning of the game, it's best to do a lot of stealing. So for now, we're going to hide and jump out when someone comes by. Like this. Yeah. Yep, just like that. What's up, Ryu? You're not soft on us. Don't try and be a good person. We're going to justify because we're poor that it's okay to steal. They'll forgive us because we're kids. Ray looks like he's 30. Here comes somebody. Oh, a mammoth of a man. That's 4 times my size. Okay. But he's alone, so that evens it out, apparently. Show us what you're made of, champ. Go get him. Yep, that's literally how that would go. Trying to mug me, little kid? Got enough trouble with those rascals, Tipo and Ray. If I catch them, you tell them they'll be sorry. So, 0 for 1 on stealing from people. Figures it'd be Bunyan, like you couldn't tell it was his big old behind from 20 feet away. Hey, wait a minute. If he's out here, then there's no one in his house because he's a single dude. Let's go rob him. Grab some of his food. I'll show him not to mess with us after he just knocked me down on accident. Alright, so back up here. That's his house. We're going to go over there. But I'm going to save, so when you get to a certain opening area in the world map, you can start a camp with the start button. Get a little dialogue and see what's happening. Did you know about what you can do in camp? You can rest and heal or make a record of your journey. Take a look at the book in the tent. Let's do it. when you're on the road, there's no inn around, or when you're poor, you can always camp out. Apparently, we just have this giant ass camp and fire material in our pockets. So we're gonna save here. Our first save file of this game. Save over an old file of this game. That's the one I started. I had to restart this game. The first game file I had on here, I was, I think, about 10 hours in. I'd grinded all through the first part of the story, one person at a time, like I'm going to do this time. And then the file was corrupted, so I had to start all over, which works out well because I wanted to make a walkthrough video anyway. So once that happened, I spent the last 3 days figuring out what I needed to do a video. So maybe you, if you watch this, will see from all the work I've done the last couple of days on buying all kinds of stuff I didn't even know you needed for this, and Googling the shit out of how you do this in every step of the way, trying to figure it out, because it's not as straightforward as I would have thought. But this has been really cool to learn, so I'm excited to maybe help some of you guys learn this and enjoy it, and maybe chat with some of you guys down the road. For this, I'm going to stop this recording. Bye.